Okay, so here's... I died. So here's Battlefield 6. Okay, so now we're on like a competitive setting, I guess I'd say. 1080p, or 1200p, sorry, low. And you can see that the performance didn't like skyrocket. It didn't go from, 120 to 400, but that's just the way that it is. The GPU, you can see the GPU performance, the GPU watts is actually down, but the CPU is just getting slammed here. But we should be able to maintain a higher low FPS is what we're going for here. So yes, the average is up slightly, but what we're really looking for here is higher lows. So for people who are super competitive, I'm not sure how, this isn't like Counter-Strike where people are like, they need a bazillion FPS or for whatever reason. I feel like most people, what am I doing? I feel like most people would be playing this game, and as soon as I pick up the controller, I die. Thanks. I feel like most people who would be playing this game are like, they're happy to get, 120 with 70 FPS split or whatever I said it was. That's the thing here. You can go with these lower settings here, of course. And the thing is, the X3D cache will really help a lot with keeping the lows up. That's the key here. And if the low, that is one thing that I will notice in a competitive shooter. If the lows do drop a lot, you will legitimately, you'll risk dying because you'll get a big low, you'll get some stutter, and that can mean the difference between life and death. If someone's shooting you and and you hitch for a second, they move, you don't see it, you're toast, right? Look at those lows, it's fantastic, right? Like, you're getting very good average with excellent lows, very consistent. Right, so now we're at 1600 people. I don't actually expect a huge, the average doesn't change probably much, right? Because we went from like a super CPU heavy scenario to now we're hitting up the GPU more, but you can see the average, it's up same idea basically. The lows might come down a touch, but still very good, right? So, I mean, in these type of scenarios, honestly, you're better off just playing at 1600p. It's still going to run so well, and that's what the resolution of the screen is. You'll get the good lows in that. I'm not using scaling here, so this is a 1600p native. From behind, sneak attack. Anyways, it runs very well, right? So if you want to play competitive shooters, MMOs, simulation games, one of the things that matters a lot because it's competitive. Oop, that guy revived me. Is you want to keep your lows up, right? Because otherwise, you do risk, like if the lows drop down. I mean, I suck regardless, but if the lows drop down, you are at an increased risk of dying because it's going to hitch, and then you're going to basically not know what's going on, and then in that second or two, someone could be running in front of you and killing you, right? So having those really good lows is going to make a big difference. Okay, here is Dying Light, the Beast. Native. Okay. Frame generation off. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's better. I was going to say that's crazy. So the game maxed out, no scaling, no frame gen, no nothing. Just maxed. Now, that's a good base frame rate, honestly. Again, 35 with the game max at 1600p before any form of scaling or anything. You have to respect it, right? You can't expect that, the most demanding titles you're going to be able to get 1600p native 90 FPS, the highest settings and everything. But yeah, that's a good base. Okay, so let's come in here. Honestly, I think scaling might do the trick. It's gonna take a lot for me to use frame gen, to be honest, but let's try balanced. I think that should get us like to 50-ish or something. Might be a little low, but we'll see. Okay, way higher than I thought. I actually really did not expect that scaling, just balanced scaling, would take us up to over 60 with max. That's I was expecting we would need, you know, maybe lower some settings or go performance scaling or whatever, but yeah, this is, like I said, this is pick up. This is the game maxed out with just a little bit of scaling. Nothing else really going on besides the scaling. Obviously I'll die if I jump down there, but I kind of want to. Ooh, what's over here? It's a secret area. How do I jump? I don't remember. I haven't played this for a while. I just benchmarked it when it came out, and then it's been like a while since I've done PC gaming benchmarks. Look at this secret little camp over here. Isn't it cute? Zombies over there. I mean, everything is... I don't really need to turn it down, to be honest. I mean, that's DLSS balanced. But just... everything else is just maxed out. And we're getting that kind of FPS. So, I mean, I could turn it down and just get more FPS. But why? Why would I do that? It's running really well. I mean, we can try some frame gen, I guess. Because we're well above 60. So I'd be okay with frame gen. Well, I'm not the biggest frame gen, but some people are. Let's go 2 times. I'm not doing 4 times. Sorry, friends. I don't want like max latency. And you know, you get, it doesn't really do much for your lows. The lows kind of stay the same, which is why I don't use it much, but yeah, the lows are 40 or so. It's very good. Let's say though you don't care about ray tracing, because some people don't care about ray tracing. So, go video, come over here. High. High. Why is that so high? So I turned off frame gen. The scaling on. What the hell? Why is it such a higher FPS? Is that how much of an impact frame gen makes? Or I mean ray tracing? Like 50 FPS? That seems wrong. Let's turn that back on. That seems crazy to me. Okay, let's go like that. Turn that on. And then we're going to turn it back off. Okay, so no frame gen. Okay, sure, I guess. Alright, cool. So no frame gen. Just balance scaling. And all that I really did was I just turned on like the tiniest amount of... the game might be locked to 120 as an engine. I just turned on a little bit of scaling. Man, look at that. The lows are way up too. That's pretty impressive. Let's turn it. Let's go like that and go to balance mode. Again, this is really high FPS considering the only thing we did is we turned off ray trace shadows. We just put normal shadows and stuff and reflections. And on balance mode, we're still getting over 100 FPS. Again, no frame gen. It's pretty impressive. This is a big world. I might actually kind of want to play this game because it's open world looking. At least I think it is. Looks to be. Anyways, this is running well. Let's try one more time for this little jump here. I don't think it's going to work, but... How do you jump again? That's duck. That's shuffle. Okay, we'll do a little bit of Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered. Very hard to run game. Oh damn, that's way better than I anticipated for the game being totally maxed out with no scaling at 1600p on balance. Let's turn it up to performance mode. Wow, okay, I mean it's a 5080. When it comes down to it, it's a 5080. So, it's a 5080 mobile, but it's still a 5080. So the game completely maxed out. No scaling, and it's above 60. I would probably use some scaling again because you can pretty much get away with it. This dude. And it won't really affect the visuals, but it'll just maintain, yeah, I was going to say, it'll drop down from time to time. So while I want 60 FPS gameplay, I want it to be as static as possible. Right? In some areas it'll be easier to run over here, and then you come over here, quick movements and that, it'll drop down. So this is very impressive though. If you know this game, you know it's damn hard to run. So it runs well, I'll put it that way, but it scales very difficultly when you start cranking stuff. Right? We have everything turned up here, so let's come in here. DLSS balanced, frame gen off, I don't want it. Yeah, this should be pretty considerable, I would say. Yeah, big jump with balanced scaling. Scaling actually does less in this game than you might think. The settings make a huge difference, just so you know. That would be the way to go if you want to max it out with all the RT and everything, all the fancy stuff. Right, you max it out, and then look at that reflection on the shield. And then you'll be able to just throw on some scaling and should be able to maintain above 60. Maybe in the most egregious chaotic scenes you'll struggle, but more or less you should be fine. If we can come up here. Yeah, even in these tough areas, it's pretty close. You could easily get by with frame gen because you're above 60 as well. Where are we at here? Can never find it. I mean, we're at 60 as a base, so you can get by with frame gen. I'm not the biggest frame gen guy. In a game like this, against not a competitive shooter, you have a 60 FPS base frame rate. It's not the biggest deal. The lows are the one thing that I'm like, bleh. But it doesn't feel like nauseating or anything like that. But, I mean, for me, what I would normally do, because again, I'm not the frame gen guy, I would leave it off, like that. Okay? Scaling like that. And then I would typically just turn down some of the RT. Like medium RT, honestly, for a mobile platform is going to be pretty good. And I don't think you'll really ever go below 60 if you turn that RT down. Maybe if there's a bazillion things happening, but you're above 60 on average easily with lows of 40. It's impressive. It's good. So, and if you know this game, like I said, you know it's pretty hard to run. It does scale well. Rebirth. The birth of Re. So, we'll come in here. We'll go VRR. We'll go, okay, native. 1440p native. We are going to turn off frame gen. You can turn it on. That's new. Newish. I think it's like a month old. Anyways, so, well, it doesn't matter. We're native, so we'll turn off frame gen, see where we're at. So, yeah, 1440p native max. You're not getting any problems. This engine you will get, see that drop? When you first go to an area, it's texture popping and it's like horrible, but then it stabilizes. And it's fine after that, so. And this game always does. It doesn't matter what hardware you test it on, you always get bad lows during some stuff. It's just the way, it's just the game. I've tested this thing even on a 5090 desktop, and even that, if you can get frame drops. I play this routinely on like handhelds, which it's fine, just deal with it. But I also play it on have played it on my 5070 Ti desktop, 5070 Ti desktop, and it still has frame drops. 9950 X3D as well, so right, it's just the way that it is. This is running really well though. Frame gen was getting us like 165. I don't think you'd need it. I wonder if frame gen does help the lows. Probably not. It might make it worse. I'm just kind of curious because it's a new thing for me. So let's come back in here and we'll turn that frame gen back. I've never used it in this game ever. So we'll go like that, and I'm just curious, what if we do use a little bit of scaling? Like that? Just the frame gen, a little bit of scaling. I wonder if it will. I don't think it's going to help with the lows, but look at that average. 200 FPS is so insane. Yeah, you still get the frame drops. However, what are we going to get on balance mode? Yeah. Scaling and all that kind of extra junk does kind of help make it a little bit more impressive on like a quieter mode. Let's come in here and get into some action now. Oh, I feel like frame rate makes it worse for the drops. It's like brutal. Unreal Engine, go burr. Yeah. I mean, it runs well as you can expect on any system, to be honest. Optimized settings. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, so the game maxed out with no RT though, and no scaling, and let's turn it up to a higher setting, and yeah, I mean, it's to be expected. I don't know what that was, but okay. I've already harvested this guy. Let's get on. I don't know, how do you ride this guy again? Left bumper? Ooh, what's that? I mean, it's running well. Flash flies. That was a overly exaggerated jump. Burst pod. Let's get into some form of combat. If it's going to run like this, then I'm probably just going to be like, yeah, just play. I'm just curious if it'll stay static, and then if we're going to need some form of scaling, because, you know, our frame rates drop or something like that. Is that a bad guy? I should focus on the rescue first. Okay, well, how do I get on this thing? Call Scarecat. There we go. I'm not actually sure where I'm supposed to be going. Are these things telling me where to go, or are these telling me to get these little things? Nitro Blossom. Nitro. Nitro Blossom. There we go. Combat. And when I say that, it's because there's, like, in this game, there's a lot of, like, calculations is the right term. A lot of stuff going on the screen at one time. It's not just graphically trying to represent what's going on. The CPU is being loaded up. And so, having the 3D cache, and just a generally powerful CPU, but especially the 3D cache, like what you'd see on the CPU here, should help keep the lows up. And we are seeing that. Like, these lows are quite good. We're getting average, you know, 100 FPS on average, but the lows are 70, which is very impressive. Like, that's a good split. In a game like this where, you know, you don't need 400 FPS or anything. It's not that kind of competitive online game, but you probably do want reasonably good FPS, right? Because otherwise you can end up dying because you get big hitches or something like that, and you miss important attacks, timed attacks, and that kind of stuff. So, plus it just feels better. I actually have no idea where I'm going. So, anyways, yeah, it seems to be running quite well. Again, I'm not very far in this game. I'm going to play it a little bit and get a little further, but so far, from my understanding, this is running pretty well. Yeah, quality DLSS. I mean, we can turn it off. Just see what it's like with it off. It's running so well. I would probably just leave it on, but with no scaling, yeah, we were getting like 80 to 100. Sorry, with scaling we were getting 80 to 100, which is quality. And then here without it, we're still at like 75. I mean, it's pretty damn good. I would probably leave it on, considering you're getting 30 more frames, like 30 FPS more or so, and you're not really compromising the visual, well, you're not compromising the visual fidelity. Even if you were pixel counting, you probably wouldn't tell, so this is running quite well. Yeah, he helped his dragon bird thing. Cool. Thank the winds. No, thank me. I saved you. The base camp actually is hitting the FPS a little bit. Good. Windward Lands. Complete mission. The Desert Trotters. She walks very slow. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you don't need scaling, to be honest. It's running very well without it, but you might want to throw it on for like heavy combat scenes. Keep your FPS up. It really did bring up the lows a lot too, so I would probably use just quality scaling. It really did help quite a bit. But if you're not into scaling, then this is running well regardless. So very good. Okay, a little Spiderman. Let's see where we're at here. So very high, maxed out. You can see everything here. It's really good, really high. VSync, frame gen off, upscale off. So this is native. Again, it's a 5080. And I mean, the power of this GPU, especially with high bandwidth, I think we're going to be able to keep our lows up pretty well. And I think the CPU actually is going to put, okay, obviously the CPU is going to put in a lot of work there. I was going to say, it's running at 115 watts. I've tried to run this game on high performance GPUs, but with a little bit lacking on the CPU, and you get a lot of traversal stutter where you're flying through an area and like the lows will just go down to like 5 and then it'll recover. The GPU is really pulling a lot of watts here, but the frame rate is very stable. This is the most stable I've seen in this game, to be honest, on non-desktop. This game was not listed to be like, oh, it really benefits from X3D, but I think it might, like the 3D cache, because the stability of the lows is very impressive here, in my opinion. Yeah, it's running really well, actually. This is the best that I've seen this game run, maybe even on desktop hardware. Not that it's, like, I've had more powerful desktops, but it was less stable. I don't think that I've tested this game on my X3D based desktop. Yeah, this is by far the best that I've seen. I'm gonna be honest. Let's turn on the wattages here though, and see how it runs at lower watts. The CPU is still pulling a ton. The GPU is not pulling as much, but I didn't realize how heavy on the CPU this game was. I mean, it makes sense. And when I say it makes sense is because there's a lot of stuff going on. We're traversing a lot of places very fast. You're leaving? No, I'm not. I was going towards the mission area. You winker. Yeah, it runs okay on balance, but that performance